Hey there, look at me doing another video. Nobody's probably watching, and I don't care. At this point I'm doing it because it's kind of cathartic. It's emotional release, just something. If anybody watches my videos, awesome. I appreciate you. I love it. Maybe even like it if you want to. You don't have to. Just an idea. But I'm just doing this because I want to talk. I just want to get my feelings out there. So today, I'm not going to be talking about the normal stuff. That's why nobody's going to watch this video. I'm not going to talk about Star Wars. I'm not going to talk about woke men. I'm not going to talk about The Mandalorian. I'm going to talk about his Dark Materials. I don't know if any of you, even if you're watching this, you probably not, but if you're a fan of books, fan of fantasy, you would like his Dark Materials. It's based on a alternate world where human souls live outside their bodies as what's called demons. So you grow up your entire life and your soul is running along next side of you as an animal called a demon. They can change whenever they want, however they want, to whatever animal they see fit for the time being, but at the time of adolescence, when you become, or when you enter puberty, I guess, changes into one animal species and stays that way for the rest of your life. But it's basically your soul outside of your body in a person that talks back to you. So that's pretty freaking cool. Um, the characters in this story are really great. And the reason I'm making this video is because current year, well, not current year, woke politics wants to take original stories and push in a narrative of let's change the character or the original character that we grew up with. Let's change it into a woman to make women look better, like Batwoman, or let's make Luke Skywalker look like an idiot because he can't train uh, the great Rey because she's too powerful to be trained by a man. So what they do, and I brought it up before, and the channels I watch all the time have brought it up, that they just take original characters and plug in their their women characters without giving them any plot or any idea. It's just, here's a woman, she's better than everybody else, deal with it. We're not going to give you a reason why, she just is. Okay. Tomb Raider, Terminator, Alien, Ellen Ripley. No, no. We can't take original characters, female characters. We have to insert female characters into a narrative that's already been developed in a different way. Princess Leia, one of the greatest characters of all time. Amazing. Her defiance from beginning to end was amazing. She was amazing. A great character. A female character. We didn't have to make her better than anybody. So that brings me back to his Dark Materials. Basically, the story is the world, or the worlds, are in peril, and the only person that could save it is an 11-year-old girl. Great. It's freaking awesome. It's developed. You meet her. She's amazing. She does a great job. She fights off people older than her or better than her because she's witty and conniving and genius. What an idea. An original character that's a woman. Holy crap. And she doesn't have to beat off men to prove that she's better than men because her main conflict in the first story is a woman. She's fighting against a woman. I won't give any spoilers here, but that woman has very big significance to her story. But she is fighting off a woman who is trying to push her down, put her away, or tell her to conform, or this is how it has to be. But she fights against it. And there's no narrative saying that, oh, she has to be better than anybody. Her uncle is the most knowledgeable person in this story, but that doesn't matter because she's awesome. Her best friends are a walking, talking bear, which is great. That's why you should check out the series. It's called His Dark Materials, by the way. It's a walking, talking bear. Not ever does it feel like pushed that he's pushing any of his knowledge or his ability on her or lack thereof in the negative. Like, oh, she can't learn from the bear because he's a man. And then you have Lee Scoresby, freaking badass. He's this book series or this show series version of a Han Solo slash balloon pilot. I mean, you have to watch it to understand what I mean by balloon pilot. But he's awesome. He's badass. But not once did they ever talk down to Lyra, or do they let her build them up? Like, they're not good characters unless she says they are. Star Wars. You have these stories, these great stories out there, and all they have to do is just frickin' acknowledge that they're out there and create them. A great YouTube creator I follow, and I'm sure I said this in one of my last videos, or I've said it before, I'll say it again. It says that you can't create a woke narrative in an original story. You have to they have to take over an original story and put in the woke narrative. Hence, Terminator Dark Fate, or The Last Jedi, or movies like that. Instead of building off of great characters that were already built, like Ellen Ripley or Linda Hamilton's character, Sarah Connor, or Lyra Belacqua. Lyra Belacqua. She's amazing. She's an 11-year-old girl and she's kicking ass and taking names, and she's manipulating people left and right. She's awesome. All you had to do was build off this original material. But no, you want to take over already made material and plug in your frickin' SJW politics. And I hate saying those letters because, to be honest, I'm so sick of the letters. I'm stupid. The fact is, they're there. Just go watch Terminator Dark Fate. It's there. Beer break. Can make a good story about women without stealing from a previously created story. Oh yes, I'm wearing my work shirt again, or my classic V-neck, or my work shirt, whatever. You can make original stories with women in them. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. So when people say toxic fans because they weren't happy with The Last Jedi, they weren't unhappy with The Last Jedi. They were unhappy with how it was presented and how it was reacted to by the creators. Obviously, but that's since it's on a loop by now. Everybody knows that. Sorry, I rambled on like I always do. Want to get back to His Dark Materials. Okay, if you're watching this and you've ever heard of a movie called The Golden Compass, came out in 2007, starring Daniel Craig as Lord Asriel and Nicole Kidman as Mrs. Coulter, and Ian McKellen playing the voice of Yorick Bernison, which was awesome. I've read the book. It doesn't. It completely runs away from the book. It holds up at some points, but it completely runs away from the books. And if you look in the trivia section of IMDb of Game of Thrones, or read a story about George R.R. Martin, when he saw the Golden Compass, that's when he decided that he would not allow anybody to turn his Song of Ice and Fire books into a movie, because you can't turn a book into a movie. You just can't. Unless it's a 50-page book, you can't turn it into a movie. So that's why we got Game of Thrones. Thank you to Philip Pullman, The Golden Compass, and His Dark Materials. That's the reason we got Game of Thrones. Now, they bungled Game of Thrones at the end, sure, but if it weren't for The Golden Compass, George R.R. Martin would have never sold the rights to his stories to anybody. Because I should say, that's the reason we got the series of a Game of Thrones instead of a movie. Can you imagine the 5 books of the 7 that are never going to get completed turned into 2-hour movies? They would have been awful. Now, granted, the last 2 seasons were awful, but they would have been so much worse if you tried to put a Game of Thrones into one movie, A Feast for Kings for one movie. And I know I'm getting the order wrong there, but I don't care. I'm just saying, you can't turn a 200, 400, 600 page book into a movie. That's the only reason New Line Cinema made so much money off the Lord of the Rings, because Miramax wanted to turn Peter Jackson's treatment into 2 movies, and then they went, no, we're going to turn it into 1 movie. So you're going to turn The Lord of the Rings into 1 movie? And he said, nah, can we shop it somewhere else? And they went, yeah. And New Line Cinema said, they presented them with a 2-movie treatment, and the guy in charge said, no, this is 3 movies. We can't do 2 movies out of The Lord of the Rings. So that's what's so great about His Dark Materials, is it's taking a very simple trilogy. It's not a long trilogy. It is what would be considered child literature, as in it's not very violent and it's not sexual at all. But it takes a 900-page trilogy or short books and takes 1 season at a time. And what's great about this first season of His Dark Materials on HBO is that it's intermixing characters from the second book, so that when the second season started, you're not thrown off by the main character not being there right off the point. That's not a spoiler. That's just the truth. If you haven't read the books, when the second season starts, Lyra's not going to be there at the beginning, but that doesn't mean she's not going to be there at all. She's going to be there, but at the very beginning, it's not going to be about her. Spoiler, sorry. But what I love most is that a lot of YouTubers I watch, they've given up on BBC, and I can understand. BBC is a government-controlled network and propaganda machine. So they're going to get their money either way, because if you live in England, you have to pay a tax to get your TV. Not like here where you can pick and choose. I mean, granted, in England you can probably, I mean, I'm no expert on this, but you could probably get Amazon Prime and Netflix and all that. But as far as main television, there is no Cox or Comcast. It's the BBC, and that's it. And they're gonna get your money either way, so they can whatever they want. Female Doctor Who. So a lot of YouTubers I watch will sit and back and complain that the BBC is lost, which it is, because paid for and owned by the government. They can push whatever they want, but they can still put out a good product like his Dark Material. Now, in the States, if you're watching this overseas, which you're not, because nobody watches my videos. Nobody watches my videos. That's okay. I'm still gonna keep doing it. It I'm sorry. That's all right. I love. I'm so sorry. Christmas otherwise.